Um, okay, sorry about that. All right, hang on. Let me go back up to where the question was. The last one was about film school. All right, it's good. This is good. I hope everyone types in that it's working now. Um, I mean, I went to film school because I liked making movies in high school, and I wanted to go to film school, and that seemed like a reasonable thing to do. I enjoyed it. NYU wasn't the best. It certainly has absolutely no benefit in helping you find financing for anything. The benefit for me was living in New York and getting to work in a video store and hanging out um, with the types of people who would then become my collaborators. Sean, Kate, and Riley were all video store people, and I feel like that was kind of the benefit of NYU. I got to go see repertory films all over the city. And it helped me learn how not to make films, because at school they want you to get you know permits and insurance, and I just spent a couple years thinking that was how I had to make a film before realizing that that is in no way the case. And I just wanted to get out there with friends and shoot with no lights, and school taught me how to do that. um, Someone says, you got a decent response from Pynchon. That is correct. Someone else says, the only tolerable novel by Pynchon is The Crying of Lot 49. That is wrong. That is not true. Crying of Lot 49 is a beautiful read and a slim read, um, and it's great. But his books only get better, and I think Against the Day is a masterpiece. It's 1,100 pages long, and it's perfect, and it's more fun than any of the other ones. I think it's an amazing adventure. So that is an incorrect statement. Someone says, "What are you working on next? What other independent filmmakers, such as yourself, are you excited for right now?" I'm also being told to calm down, which I will do now. Um, I mean, Color Wheel release has been taking up a lot of time for the last several months. That's over pretty much as of tomorrow, so I don't know what to do next. I have a new script that I would really like to make. It's kind of about my experiences having moved to New York to go to film school. It's not literally about that, but it's about moving to New York from somewhere that's not New York, and meeting people who are not interested in helping you, and meeting people who are going to disappoint you. And I would quite like to make it at some point, although I don't know how. It'll be a much bigger film than either one of my two previous films, and I still have never worked with an actual producer. I've never worked with anyone who does any fundraising or budget or scheduling. I've gotten everything myself by calling people and asking for it. And on both films, I'm doing the transportation, and um, it's terrible. So I'd really like to find a crew of professionals to help me make a movie, so that then my friends can all get back on set and we can do what we've done twice. What other filmmakers are you excited for right now? I mean, there's a lot of great friends and colleagues whose films I love, and a lot of those filmmakers are in Color Wheel. Bob Byington, who plays the professor character in the Color Wheel, I think his films are excellent. We met at a festival where Implex was playing, and also Harmony and Me, which is a great film. And then Rai Russo Young, who is in Color Wheel. I really love her film, You Won't Miss Me. Um, and Ken Tucker, who put on this screening, is in two films that I have seen recently that I really love. Bad Fever and Sun Don't Shine by Dustin DeFay and Amy Seimetz. Um, I don't know. I love all my friends' movies because all my friends are talented, and that's why I love them. Um, Kate is in great movies: Green, Silver Bullets, um, Sun Don't Shine. Again, these are all great people who do great work, and I love seeing their films and supporting them. Would you ever make a film on an iPhone? No, I do not have one, nor do I know how to use one. Uh, I guess if I had one, I would make a film that is about my cats fighting on the floor. but someone would have to hand it to me while it was already recording, or else I would not be able to figure it out. Riley and Kate have a lot of chemistry. That is not a question, but I agree with that. They're very funny together. Um, when we started doing the film, or when I even started thinking about it, I always knew it was going to be Riley. And then I said to Kate, watching you guys interact at the store is hysterical. You're 3 inches taller than him, and he seems to shrink down an extra couple of inches when you are standing next to him. That is the chemistry I want in the film, and I thought that'd be very funny, and it was. And I love them both. Did you act in any NYU student films? Probably. I mean, yes, I'm sure someone asked me to do it, although none that are like the types of films that anybody wants anyone to see. I mean, just like the in-class video projects. Unless whoever's asking this has a movie that I'm in and wants to send it to me. But I do not recall appearing in any student films. It seems disingenuous to say I don't remember. What I mean by that is, like, there's the student films that you make as like a senior or a junior, which are like the big projects where you get a crew and you shoot for a week. I was not in any of those. I know that for a fact. I mean, like, at NYU they do this thing where for the first 2 semesters, you have to like be in these films where you make 5 short movies. Each one is a minute and a half long, and I'm sure I was in those. I mean, you do them in a day, and if somebody bails out and you're on a crew, you have to be in it. Someone says green is phenomenal. I agree with that. Somebody says, can you pick up one or both of your cats and let us see? Cats have tons of video chat presence. Yes, I can. One of them is right here. Hang on. There he is. This is for you, whoever asked that. I hope this is enhancing the video chat. This is my best friend, Smokey. All right, you can go now. Someone asked what my thought was on digital. I don't do it. It's not because I dislike it and I think there's anything wrong with it. It just doesn't really strike me as the way I've seen movies. If I felt like I got an idea and I saw it in this crisp digital sort of world, then I would totally want to do it as such. Both of my films so far were kind of these throwbacks to, a certain older type of independent film, and that I want them to be in 16. I think the next film I want to do in Super 16, and I'm hoping that can happen. But I really do love shooting on film. Someone's asking, what is your favorite Cassavetes, and do you think Ray Carney is annoying or interesting? That reminds me, I saw a question right before it froze. What is your favorite Bresson? I'll answer both of those now. I think my favorite Cassavetes is probably Killing of a Chinese Book. No, Husbands. Husbands is my favorite Cassavetes by a huge margin. Do I think Ray Kearney's annoying or interesting? I don't know him, but I really like Cassavetes on Cassavetes. I think that's an invaluable text, and he edited that, so I think he's interesting. And my favorite Bresson, I don't know. Diary of a Country Priest, which I saw for the first time recently, moved me quite a bit. I like Lancelot of the Lake. I really like L'Argent. Those are all great films. Double probably. I mean, they're all on the same level for me. Mouchette and Alhazard Balthazar I saw again recently. They were not as good as they were when I was 17. How long have you been working on making films? Is it something you always wanted to do? I mean, I started shooting IMPOLEX in 2008. I started writing it at the end of 2007, and it's now 2012, so 5 years, including, film school, which was 4 years, and in high school I had a TV show with my friends for 2 years, so I guess in a way since I was 15. And it was always what I wanted to do. I got to my high school, there was a student-run television station. I loved it. I wanted to be a part of it. I was really happy to join and start shooting stuff for people, and by senior year I knew it was all I wanted to do. Someone says, sorry, 1 second, I lost my spot. Going back to Implex, was there ever a desire to expand the World War II details and setting of the film? I guess budget constraints might prevent that, but did you have any ideas for other visuals or sounds? No, not really. I did want it to just kind of be that thing, small, in the woods. I felt like if we started expanding it, there was no way we could do enough to do it, and I thought it was just kind of more interesting as this one tiny little one location thing. I knew we couldn't have any lights. I knew that we needed all natural light, so I just figured you do it outside and it would be great. And yeah, there was never an idea. I wanted to film a scene on a boat, like a small, like passenger boat, like a pontoon or something. But there was no way to do that in a way that made period appropriate sense. So that was abandoned before it was ever written down. Someone is laughing. I assume that was about my cat. And if the other one wanders over here, I'll pick him up too. Someone says, if you could do an adaptation of a Philip Roth novel, which one would you pick and who would be your ideal cast? And someone says Ray Carney is annoying, so I guess I was wrong about that. I guess Ray Carney is annoying, but I don't know. Philip Roth, I would do the Zuckerman books as one movie. I would do Ghostwriter, Zuckerman Unbound, and The Anatomy Lesson as one movie with 3 different actors playing the character as a young man, as a slightly older, successful man, and as a old, bitter man with a broken back. I think those would be great. I would also like to make a movie of Sabbath Theater with Rob Reiner as Mickey Sabbath. He is what I picture when I was reading Sabbath Theater. He's a big, fat, disgusting man with a beard. And I think that would be a good movie, especially if he was abusing women on the street, as the character does in Sabbath's Theater. Have you watched any of the other films on NoBudge live screenings? If so, which ones have you liked and which ones are you excited that are coming up? I have not. This is my first night in like 2 weeks where I'm not out doing something for Color Whale. I'm going to try to watch Steven Gerwitz's movie because he's a great guy and I'm very fond of him and he cracks me up. So I plan on watching that, and I assume everyone should do the same. It's going to be good, I'm sure. Someone says, I saw Killing of a Chinese Bookie 3 times on the big screen in recent months. The novel Diary of a Country Priest is adapted from is worth reading. I will keep that in mind. I don't know where you live that Killing of a Chinese Bookie plays that often. Hopefully somewhere doing a Ben Gazzara tribute. Someone says, if you're a Bresson fan, you'll have to catch up with our Dardenne brothers. Rosetta, I just saw Kid with a Bike, if you haven't already. I will. There are always Dardenne movies playing. Whenever a new one comes out, there is a new retrospective, so I would like to do that. Thank you for the recommendation. Someone says, what is your response to Pynchon fans who might be expecting a more straightforward, faithful take on Gravity's Rainbow? Have you seen Proof Stand 13, which also uses elements from GR? My response is that a fan should know that that's impossible to see that straightforward adaptation. And also, I think that would be really boring. I don't think the fun of the novel lies in any sense of literal connection to world history or to narrative. I think the fun of the novel is the tone and the spirit and the freewheeling atmosphere and the long gaps with comedy and with abstraction and with imagery. And I think, a Pynchon fan, hopefully, like myself, would rather watch a film that captures that spirit rather than one that just tells the story. Because, the book is the book. It could not be improved upon. You couldn't film it in a way that did it any justice. I just wanted to film it in a way that paid tribute, not justice. I haven't seen Proof Stand 13. I watched the clips of it online when I was looking at the website, when I was researching IMPOLEX. Copies of it were like $45. And I contacted them to get them to send me one for free, and I tried to trade them for IMPOLEX, but they never wrote back. I should try to do that again. I still have it bookmarked, so thank you for the reminder. Someone says, what directors are you thinking of for the New York film? Or what's your favorite New York film? The script is just finished. I do not have any sense of the inspirations for it yet beyond what the inspirations were for the script. I don't really imagine, I haven't really gotten to the point of thinking about filmmakers to be inspired by for it. But the favorite New York film, I think, Peter Bogdanovich film, They All Laughed, is probably the best New York film I've ever seen. Um, James Glickenhaus film, Shakedown, which is also called Blue Jeans Cop, is also probably the best New York film I've ever seen. So those two films are kind of what I would want the New York movie to be. Uh, Obviously, those are both from the 80s, so it won't, but I feel like those capture the spirit of the city in a really fun, beautiful way. Um, Someone says, I've heard Gerwitz's movie is good. Has anyone seen it? And someone else says, Gerwitz's movie, very great. Plays here next Wednesday. That's Kentucker. Good. High praise. I will be watching that. Someone says, going back to Implex, did Kate and Riley have a good connection? Yes, they had a great connection. They had worked at the store. They loved each other as friends. And we shot this movie and had as good of a time as anything could ever have been. And they got along great. We were hanging out, doing barbecue, and playing badminton every night. They got along really well. It benefited the relationship in the movie. He never stopped being afraid of her a little bit and being intimidated by her, which really worked because Riley is very small and very funny. Do you think that seeing a film like Color Wheel or Implex online streaming is adequate, or is this just a gesture towards the theater? I don't know if you mean the NoBudge theater. Um, do I think is it adequate? I don't know. I wouldn't think that it should be the only way to come and watch the film, but I watch lots of films on my computer and I enjoy it immensely, and I certainly don't denigrate that experience. And if someone wants to sit down and click on one of these films and watch it for free any night, I encourage that because that is a fun way for me to watch movies, and I assume it's a fun way for everyone else to watch them. Hopefully, if the film then played in the theater, perhaps they would say, oh, I already really like this, I'd like to go. Or if my next movie plays in the theater, they would say, oh, I watched this movie online and it was even good on my little computer screen. So I'd like to go see the next one big because I feel like that will be a different experience. Someone says, I don't know if this is too spoilery, but in vague terms, what happens to Colin and JR after the color wheel? That was never discussed amongst Carlin or myself when we were writing it. It was never a thing where we could tell you, oh, I know what happens, but it's not in the movie. You know, for us, the characters, that was the end of them. And I was always, whenever someone says that, I say, tell me what you think happens. And so if you want to type it in, I will read it and see if that could be appropriate. But we really felt like if we had anything else to say about what happened to them, it would have been in the movie, which we didn't. The question is about a gesture towards what it could or should be for the theater versus online streaming. Which I feel like I've answered at this point. Someone says, how is distribution with Match Factory? I wouldn't know. Match Factory is not distributing either one of my movies. Factory 25 is, I know that they both have the word factory. It's confusing. Match Factory is a very big deal, and I wish they would work on selling my movies in Europe because that's what they do, and I could really make a killing if they sold it to all the territories that they usually work in. It's great with Factory 25. I really haven't gotten too far into it at this point, and Factory 25 is actually not handling Color Wheel theatrical. It's a company called Cinema Conservancy, but Factory 25, which Matt Grady is the owner of it, is a really good... I'm frozen again. Oh, wait, there we go. Really great company, and they have a pretty incredible catalog of fantastic films, and I'm incredibly excited to have one of their beautiful DVDs, which this film will be on as well. And it's a great company, and he's being very supportive for the Color Wheel theatrical campaign, even though it's really not him. It just, he loves the film and he wants it to do as well as possible. Someone says, not sure if this is true, but I heard you were planning on doing a Brian De Palma pastiche for an omnibus film. That is true. I was planning on that. And I shot one day of it with Kate Scheel, and then just got incredibly busy last year with color wheel traveling and other things. I would still quite like to do it. We have this footage. We have 30 minutes of 16 millimeter that I shot with her for it. The idea has changed a lot, and I would want to go back to the drawing board while preserving the idea of what her character was. But I still would really like to do it. It's been 2 years, almost to the day, since we shot Color Wheel, and I have no movement on anything else. So I would like to make this short for the omnibus, just to keep busy and not forget how to get in front of the, well, behind the camera, but work with actors. What kind of Brian De Palma techniques was I going to draw on? It wasn't really, I mean, the De Palma idea was just that it was a split area. There's going to be some split screen sequences that I had written into the script. And I wanted to do a lot of split diopter where someone's like right here in focus and then someone else is all the way back here in focus. Those were kind of the techniques. It was for an erotic, the idea was an erotic thriller omnibus. So a series of 4 or 5 short erotic thriller films. They didn't all have to be De Palma. That was just my idea. The other people who were going to do it or who are going to do it are coming up with their own influences. I just wanted to play around with split screen and that sort of hyper stylized look, and you know how that relates to the sexuality of his films. Someone says, "What's in the blue cup? Booze?" Question mark. No, it is water. It's warm here. I get to put my air conditioner in. So I am drinking water to stay refreshed during this discussion. Stephen Gerwitz, whose movie I was just plugging, not knowing that he was listening, says, "Not sure why I'm interested to know, but it seemed like everyone but Kate had one wardrobe in Implex. Kate seemed to change every time we saw her, including her accent. Can you talk about that a little?" Sure, Stephen. How are you? It's nice to see you here online. Congratulations on the movie. I'm excited to see it. I also love you in Somebody Up There Likes Me. Derek, the role of Derek. Kate, yeah, it was always part of it. In the script, it said every time that character appeared, she would be wearing different clothes. And I feel like that was because, you know, to me, she was dropping in and out of, you know, the reality of what was happening to Riley's character and her, you know, the sense of narrative for her was changing. And this goes back to what we were discussing earlier with the recontextualizing of her final monologue. If she's kind of telling the story, then, you know, it makes sense for her to be in different clothes. There's even one shot where between the beginning and the end of the shot, it's about a 3-minute shot, she changes when she's off camera. And I just thought that was a mysterious element that seemed to be frozen again. A very bizarre image. Hopefully this will fix itself. Hang on, I'm gonna stop it and start it again. Give me 1 minute.